Hey, I want to. Hey, Mike Healy here with Big Guns Barbecue, and I'm going to show you how to make some awesome baby back ribs. So I like baby back ribs because they're just fun. I love using food or eating foods that you use with your fingers, your hands, things like that. And baby backs, in my opinion, are the most tender and they're fairly inexpensive. Like you can get a good slab that are pretty cheap and they feed quite a few people. So what I did is I picked up a bunch of packages, but I got these two packages I'm going to cook today for lunch. Time of me filming this right now is about 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to get these on a low smoke and get them ready. Now, I would recommend that you pull the membrane off of the backside on the bone side. If you don't know how to pull the membrane, one of the easiest things I ever saw somebody do was a video was take a butter knife and stick it under the membrane to get it to pop, and then you use a paper towel to pull it off, and it comes off. Not always perfect, but it's easier to eat than if you have the membrane on. Now, so I've got these membranes off, got them cleaned. I do like to use a mustard binder. It doesn't do anything with the flavor necessarily, but I put a good amount on both sides. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to put the binder on here, and we're going to just spread that around so it kind of gets on the sides and like this. Make it nice and juicy. I do pad these dry before anyhow, because a lot of times they have liquids that are in the packages and stuff. So once I got the binder on one side, what I do is I start with salt. This is just kosher salt, and I put a pretty good liberal amount on back sides, actually all around. So we'll do this right now, and I'll speed this up for you. All right, now that I got the kosher salt on, I like to put a thin layer of black pepper. I just get the big black pepper from Amazon, and I just kind of lightly douse it on this side. On the bone side, I just kind of put a decent amount, not over seasoned, but a good amount. And honestly, if you wanted to, salt and pepper is really all you need. It tastes amazing anyhow. I do like some honey hog by Meat Church. Okay, so with this, I'm about out of this one, but I just spread a nice little thin layer, just like that. And I'm going to finish it off with the Holy Cow meat rub or meat seasoning on the back. And I don't put a lot because it's a fairly strong strong one. Now I typically just do a little pat on here just to kind of get it to set. And then I flip it over because I'm going to cook starting with the meat side up. So we're going to flip those, and I'm going to do the repeat the process like this with my mustard binder and get this all nice and wet with the mustard so that the binder sticks. And then we're going to season this up again. Look at that. Yeah. And I put a lot of mustard on myself. I don't know if I can really taste the flavor of mustard on here, maybe a little bit, but it's just the perfect thing to kind of season it with. So we're going to repeat this process and get this seasoned up. Holy cow. And I do not use this double down on the back side, on the meat side. So I leave it there. So now we're going to let this set. I'm going to get my smoker fired up, and then I'll show you what we're going to do after that. Okay, so what I like to do to get a better flavor on here is I'm using a pellet smoker. These are hickory pellets from Oklahoma Joe's. I just picked those up on Amazon, and I'm gonna put these on here. Now I know most of my heat's on this side, so the thicker part I kind of put to one side. So I just drop those in there like that. And I'll flip this one over. We're gonna set this on now. What I'm gonna do for the probably first hour, and it's cold out here. You can probably see my breath. First hour, I'm gonna smoke it really low with a lot of smoke just to penetrate it. And then since I'm cooking these for lunch and I've got limited time, I'll crank the heat up. So I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, after I did about an hour at that temperature, I bumped it up to 250. It's been going about 250 for about 2 hours right now. And now I've got some apple cider vinegar, not diluted, straight Bragg's apple cider vinegar. And I'm just gonna do a small little spritz on it, just like this. just to keep them a little moist back in the back. Now I want you to notice right here, the bones are starting to come out a little bit. So this is telling me right there that that's telling me that I probably got a little more time. So I'm gonna let that go for probably another hour, and then I'm gonna wrap it, and that's where the magic happens. All right, so I let them cook for a little bit longer after spritzing them, and what I'm gonna do is now we're gonna wrap these, and I'm gonna show you that magic. So let me take these inside real quick. Okay, so I think that's one of the most important things you can do is you can wrap your ribs before you do it. Now, the nice thing about this is you can put stuff pre-done down here. Now, I just have just a couple blocks of butter. This is salted butter. I think Kerrygold's is the best, and I put a little bit of brown sugar. Now, some people put a ton on there and so on. I don't like to have too much because then it overpowers the meat. Now, what I am gonna do is this, is the money for the honey. Honey for the money is what they say in briskets or cooking. But anyhow, I do like to put a good amount of honey on here. This is a nice local honey, which is great. I put that on here like that. I'm gonna do 2 of these. So we're gonna do this. Right? Not a ton, but just enough. And I do like a sweet heat. And everything that I put on there seasoning wise, it did not have anything that had any fire to it. I use a little bit of the cayenne pepper, just powdered cayenne pepper, because it just gives it a little bit of a kick. Not too much. You can see it's just a light coat. Just a light coat. Same thing over here. We're gonna make both ribs the same way. There we go. A little bit more. All right. And I am going to spray that down just a little bit with pure apple cider vinegar, okay? Just gonna spray that down, apple cider vinegar, do both of them. So now that I got my tray going, I got everything where I need it to be, just like this. We're now gonna take these and we're gonna go meat side down, and look at that crust right there. I also always recommend double wrapping with aluminum foil. You can put that on there like this, bring that across, tighten it up, make it nice and snug. Because when we cook, we're gonna go meat side down when we do our cook as well. Slide that over. Those are gonna be so good. Double it over, nice and tight. Like that. And now we're gonna go put these back on the smoker for probably another hour. All right, they're all done. Took them off. If you can kind of look, it's not super wet, so I'm kind of just letting it air dry a little bit. What I'm gonna do is somebody's coming over, a few people are coming over to help eat these things in a couple hours or in an hour or so. But you can see right here how the bone's separated. So that's kind of what you're looking for when you're making them. And then there's all the juice left. I leave the boat juice there, so if anybody wants to dip it in it, unbelievable, because it's just basically it's butter and brown sugar, which is delicious. So looking forward, and I'll show you how these taste here in a minute.